Welcome to Guns Gear Network, everyone. Appreciate everyone tuning in this afternoon. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make some basic fishing lures out of trash. Stuff you may have, stuff you may find, things like that. And if you have the appropriate items in your kit, then you should be able to make some of these, fashion some of these type lures. And they're pretty simplistic in the way they are made. And you just need a few basic tools. One of the first ones I'm going to show you is utilizing Paracord. Everybody should have some Paracord normally in a survival bracelet or something like that. So you're going to find you're going to have a fishing hook that you have in your kit. And what a lot of people do is they measure like this and trim it and cut it. I don't do that. I start out with a longer piece. You can just, it doesn't matter how long this side is. Find your end here. And what I'm going to do is go on the top edge of this casing. And I'm going to start the eye of the hook in there. And I'm going to pinch this white because I don't want the white pushed back into the casing. And what you're going to do is go on the outer edge of the casing and start working your hook up until you get it kind of like that. All right, then on this end I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to trim it. You can use a pocket knife if you want. You just take and trim it beyond where the eye of the end of the hook is, where the eye is. Trim it off and then push your eye a little through like that where you can see the eye. Then you're going to take your lighter. You can use regular fire of some sort. You're going to burn all this down, making sure that you burn it all together, including the white core, so it forms a bond on the end, like that. Alright, so it's going to be a little hot, and that's okay. It'll harden up and get cool. So, if you noticed, we've got the beginnings here of a nice little fishing lure. Now, once this end dries, make sure it's good and cool to the touch. This one's still a little warm. And then just pinch it. And then normally what I do is take another hook, and then I'm going to fray the outer casing like this. Just take and fray it out. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the white. Be careful not to poke your finger, but if you'll just sit here and poke at it, it'll start fraying out. Because what you're doing is unwinding those individual strands, and then you can take and just take your finger and kind of work it like that. And again, I'm trying to speed things up for the camera. But what you're going to come up with, and you can make this a little longer on the back end if you wanted, but now you have a little bucktail type jig. And I've already made one. Here's one I made on a little smaller hook. And if you look how it looks, then you can do things like this. You can take your wire that your snare wire, and you can create things like this lure, which is the same exact thing, other than I've added some legs to it. I just simply wrap that snare wire around it and then trimmed it, and now it has legs. So if you look, that looks like a little bug or a little spider. And also with the legs, it's going to give it a little better action on top of the water, okay, or under the water. And so you can create little things like that. If you look, this one's a little longer in the back, and I've bushed it out quite a bit. And then, like I said, I've created these legs here utilizing nothing more than the snare wire that's already in my kit. So just to give you some ideas of what you can create if you just put your mind to it and think about it, and try mimicking what's in nature. Alright, so we've got this. This is the 550 cord lures that you can make that I've showed you. Then you can take something like this Coke can, and what I did was I cut the top off the Coke can, and then I cut the bottom out of the Coke can. So you have this and this. In a survival situation, do not throw any of this away. It always can be used for something potentially. All right. So the bottom of the can has a thicker aluminum to it. It's metal. It's a thicker metal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take something like this, and it's already concave. And if you noticed, I've trimmed it to look like a spoon. If you're not familiar with fishing, that may be an odd term to you, but that's called a spoon in fishing. And I'm going to show you how to create another lure utilizing something like this. Most of your multi-tools or pocket knives, it doesn't matter, will have a sharp point and like an awl or something like that. But let's just assume that the only thing you have is potentially your knife. So what we would do in that case is you would find, and be careful when you're doing these things, you don't want to injure yourself and then cause problems. But what you're wanting to do is just go back a little ways here, and now I'm going to bore a hole with my knife. Again, don't slip and cut yourself. Get a hole started on that side. You can flip it over and smooth up the hole on this side like that. And then you're going to put a hole on the other end. Get the hole started, bore it out like that. Smooth it up on that side. Smooth it up a little on this side. Alright, so now we've got our Coke can bottom with 2 holes in it. Looks just like that. Now I'm going to take some of that same wire that we had, which is the snare wire that we should have in our kit anyway, and I'm going to trim off a piece. And I'm going on this end. Usually the spoon is odd shaped. It's not even on both sides. It's usually a little fatter on one end, thinner on the other when you're doing this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this around, and I'm going to simply twist like that. And then I'm going to trim the end off. Then you can take this and bend it over so it doesn't come undone. Alright, so now I've created a place to put a line, my fishing line. Right? No special tools, no snap swivel things specific for fishing. This is, again, we're trying to make stuff out of trash. And you did the little round loop there that you can now tie your fishing line to. Then let's say you got a treble hook. You can use hooks like this, but they won't work as well. If you wanted to do this, I would even put 2 of these hooks on the back, and it's the same process. I'm going to take the wire and I'm going to run it through like that, but instead I'm going to add my hook, and then I'm going to come up here like this and make this circle a little bit tighter this time, because I don't want that hook flopping around a whole lot. And I'm going to go around and around. Then I'm going to trim everything back off. And now I've got a fishing lure. If you want to take this and trim it, or fold it down back around like we did on the other one, you can. But now I have a simple spoon fishing lure, just like that. Okay, and that was utilizing the Coke bottom. Let's say you find bottle caps. I went ahead and poked a couple holes in here in this bottle cap, but you'll poke one here and poke one there. And I don't have any here with me at the moment, but you can actually put either pebbles, little tiny pebbles, and or like your BBs, if you have BBs, but little tiny rocks inside of this, and they'd have to be very small, and you would fold it on itself like that. You might have to use your multi-tool to actually close it tight enough, and you might have to fold it on the end there to get it to where it'll fold over on itself. So I'm going to close one end up a little tighter I'm going to fold it on itself like that, and now you've got the rattling inside. Same principle. What you're going to do is on one end, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to run my wire around like that. Same exact thing as we did before. And then I'm going to wrap the wire around here. And then I'm going to trim it. I'm going to take this and fold it over on itself. Then I'm going to take one of these hooks. Again, treble hooks work better for this, but if this is all you've got, you can use this. Same thing, I'm going to take and run the wire through the hole here. Alright, then I'm going to put my hook on. Take this, same thing, and twist it. Trim it. Now, I'm going to show you a little trick with this one. I just now figured this out that may be a little easier. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my knife. Well, I'm going to take a little flathead on my multi-tool, and I'm going to open this back up. What I'm going to do is take this end here that's like that. I'm going to go ahead and fold it down inside of that little area on both sides. Pull that around. Now I'm going to shut it, and look, I've got a little fishing lure. And believe it or not, there's videos out there, guys, of people catching these. This is not my invention. There's guys that catch fish with bottle cap fishing lures. So I just kind of want to show you some things you can create from trash and so forth in a survival situation if you have the basis of some other things, again, like fishing hooks. So we have the spoon to another type lure. We've got this fly, this bigger fly that's very similar to like a maybe a little salamander or a little lizard or a big bug. There's big water bugs that look very similar to this when they land on the water because they have big long legs. So you've got that. Let's see, line them up this way. Then you've got two of these small flies like that you can create also. So anyway, guys, you can also add jig heads. If you wanted to make one of these with a jig head, you could. Nothing wrong with that. And so if you have a couple of jig heads in your kit, you can always use those also. So anyway, guys, just wanted to kind of show you what you can create if you get creative and get to thinking about what you're doing and the type of stuff. Again, like I said, save all your little scraps. You may, in a survival situation, nothing goes to waste. I don't care if it's just in a little scrap pile. Wire like this, do not throw it away. If you want to take it and wrap it up a little bit to save on some space, throw it in a little area so you know where it's at, and you can go back later and raid your scrap pile, because you are going to be foraging for this type stuff and being able to need it later and have it, and that's going to be very important in a survival situation. So anyway, guys, I hope you found this video helpful. If you've got any experience with something like this, post that below. If you've got any comments, post those below. I'd like to hear from you. If you like our videos, please give us the thumbs up. That's always helpful. And as always, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll be bringing another video shortly. Have a great day, guys.